We've just come to Fox, we've had a little tune up. And here we are. It's just me, you, and a load of bike parts, so let's get into it. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Now today is going to be super exciting. Many of you know I ride for Focus bikes, which makes some amazing enduro, trail and electric bikes. One thing they don't make, however, is a downhill bike. I obviously haven't got a bigger travel bike, and the fact that Pond Group owns Santa Cruz GT, Cannondale, as well as Focus, I've managed to get hold of a second-hand, new to me, Santa Cruz V10. I've got some exciting plans for this thing, and one of the main reasons why I wanted a downhill bike is the fact that I'm going to Morzine for a couple of weeks, and after that would be the Mega Avalanche. And what I don't want to do, like I did last year, is trash my Mega Avalanche bike on the basis that you're doing laps upon laps upon laps, and a downhill bike's just better built for all of that rough, horrible stuff. And then I've got a mint bike ready for the Mega. So first off, let's strip it. There we go, we've stripped it down. The next step is to send it to Snakeskin Wrapping. We've just come to Fox, we've had a little tune up, we've got our freshened up shock. Let's go, fit it and send the gnar, let's get it. Oi, oi. And here we are. That is pretty trick. The hobby horse. Here we are then, sports fans, in the muck-off workshop, and do you hear that? Yeah, that's correct. We haven't got any distractions today from any of the other lads because I'm the only one in here, so we should be getting things done nice and efficiently. So we've seen Jake's work on film. However, look at her. She is looking insane. She's not too in your face, but she's enough in your face. Let's get on with building it. I am super stoked with that. So massive thanks to Jake at Snakeskin Wrapping. And if you want a bike similar to that or your own custom design, he is offering a further 10% off with Oi 10. So make sure you go check him out. It's definitely a slightly more affordable way to personalize your whip rather than, you know, custom painting. Not that there's anything wrong with custom painting. If you're on a budget, that's where you need to go. So check him out, Jake at Snakeskin Wrapping. Anyway, back to the build. We've got a lot of work on our hands. We've got very little time, so let's get into it. Oi, oi. The joys of being a one-man band is just me, you, and a load of bike parts, so let's get into it. We're going to start off by putting the forks in. Now, obviously, this requires a bit of mechanical know-how and cutting, so come to see Michael here at Wheelie Bike Shop, who knows his stuff. Look at this workshop. Obviously need the Siggy Oi stem cap. Really excited to have some big forks on the front again. So these are Fox Factory 40s. The last time we had some 40s was when I transformed my Focus Sam last year for Whistler. Yes, it was more of a free-ridey bike opposed to an out-and-out downhill race bike. I don't really know what the best way is to build a bike. Obviously, I'm not a bike mechanic by trade by any means, and any of my mates can tell you that. But I'm presuming if we start off by doing the front end, having the handlebars, then we can get all the controls nice and go around that way around rather than another way. So there's our forks sort of in. Next thing I'm going to start off with is putting the rear hose through, because as you can see, the beauty is with this bike, we haven't actually got any internal routing, which for non-mechanics like myself suits me down to the ground. So what we do need to do, however, is feed it through without the shock. It's going to be running from obviously the rear to the front, but we just got to make sure we get the routing correct. With the fact we've got triple clamps, they need to go underneath, so that's why we've put it on loosely for now. The keen eyes amongst you would have noticed we've named this the hobby horse. See, I ride for Focus to ride their bikes as fast as I can here and there, as well as promote their brand as much as I can. Downhill racing, this is a pure hobby for mine, so that is exactly why Ollie Wilkins called it the hobby horse, and I loved it that much that we've put it on the bike. So we're naming it the Focus Hobby Horse CC. We're getting all the routing done while the shock's out. So as you can see, we've routed the brake cable, zip tied it all in. So we've got both sets of cables through, we've got the brake, we've got the gear. I suppose now we'll put the shock in. That's where the problems start. There, nice and easy. Boom, look at that, orange and camo. So next up, we've got these puppies, which are the O-Dub bars. These are 35mm rise. Should sit on there nicely. As you can see, by putting the bars on, it gives us loads of scope to put all the controls on. However, we can catch some fish with that, so we'll cut that later on. Right, put the front brake on, and as you can see, these brakes are pretty pimp. It's got like a rainbow effect. We're getting a front cable, back cable, obviously needs some cutting. Got the shifter. The beauty we've got with the SRAM stuff is there's a matchmaker system, which basically means we don't need an additional clamp. It just literally goes straight to the bottom of the brake lever. We're running the DMR Def grips. These are thin and soft compound, and we've got to make sure when we put these on that we put them all the way to the end of the bar, just like that. Next step is these. These are the DMR Axe cranks, and as you've noticed, we've gone for silver or chrome opposed to black, unlike normal. So as you can imagine, the silver with the black looks pretty trick. These are in 165 rather than 170, so they're slightly shorter, so less rock strikes and all of that good stuff. We've also got the DMR blade chainring. On my downhill bike, I actually run 34 opposed to 36. On the faster stuff, yes, you would want 36, but for local-ish riding, you still want some gearing on the front because you've only got 7 gears on the back. Next step, bit of BB action. So the biggest nose is the chain device. So the only way we're going to be able to space it out correctly is putting the cranks in, putting it through and seeing what the chain line's like. So we've got the space in, and look how trick those cranks look. DMR Volt pedals, I use them on all of my bikes. The only difference with these is it's got the Super King pins in, which means more grip for a flat pedal rider. Starting to look or resemble slightly more of a bike. I think next step before I look at the chain length, etc., is getting the wheels on the go. The Halo Gravitas wheel set. These are slightly bigger spacing, obviously for the bigger frame. Makes all the difference. Putting the logos on, colour match with the fork. The big bad boy 200s on there. So being a 20mm axle, you need to replace these, easy as pushing in, pulling out, done. Second rotor, just make sure it's spinning the right way. Got an arrow on there, you can't really make that mistake. Gradually getting there. Next step is putting a 7-speed cassette on. Sticking with the silverish sort of camo theme, we're going to go for the silver muck-off valve. With the fact this is my downhill bike, I'm going to go for the Schwalbe Ultra Soft Compound Magic Marys. Admittedly, if I was riding uphill, I'd probably go for the slightly normal, softer version, but with the fact I'm going to be pushing or getting uplifts, these are the tyres of choice. The wheels are looking fresh with the Schwalbe downhill casing, Ultra Soft Magic Marys on there, and then there's the bike just missing some finishing touches. It's getting there. But as soon as we put this front wheel in, it's going to start looking like a bicycle that we can actually ride. Do the pinch bolts up in a minute. Wow, look at that. The one thing we always try and change on these bikes is the old oi saddle. So as you can see, we had to go for the snow camo. Just sort of goes quite well, doesn't it really? Put the saddle on her. The final remaining thing just the chain. Cutting the old cables down. So here she is, my Focus hobby horse CC. Yes, obviously for all you haters, it's not a Focus. However, it's not going to be my primary bike. It's not going to be like my Focus Jam, but for the bigger trips, this will come into its own. I want to say a massive thanks to Jake at Snakeskin Wrapping. So if you want to get a little discount, remember OI10 will get you 10% off. It's the cheaper option to a paint job. And if you get bored of it, you can always pull it off and get another one. As always, all my sponsors, DMR for all the bits and bobs, Halo, Schwalbe. You know who you all are. I do need to fit a mud guard when I get back home, obviously a mud hugger, but she is looking sick, super impressed, amazing. If you've enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you give it a thumbs up, be sick if you subscribe. Until next time, see you in a bit. Oi, oi.